The following program is made possible with the support of
BB&T, best bank in town since 1872. Papa John's Pizza, better ingredients, better pizza. Cookout, hamburgers, hot dogs, and great milkshakes. ESPN 630 AM, Wilmington's all sports station. And Sunny 104.5, Wilmington's best mix while you work.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sports Roundtable. We've completed 4 weeks of high school football for our area teams, and one team that is dead even after 4 weeks, 2 up and 2 down, is the Ashley Screaming Eagles, coming off a big home victory this past Friday. Coach Eaton's alongside. Tom, congratulations. I know you've been pleased with the effort, and the kids saw success at the end of the night.
Well, they have put out a tremendous effort. You know, we're sort of outsized and different things, but the last 2 weeks they've played very focused and with a lot of heart. I mean, we lost one and we won one, and to put ourselves in a position just to have that opportunity, I think speaks well of these young men and what they've, accomplished.
Before we get to the highlights, I know one aspect of the high school game sometimes we don't see on tape all the time, special teams. Your kicking game has given you, one, strong kickoffs, and two, some consistency as far as field goals, point after touchdown.
Well, Seth Kajowski was a freshman last year and kicked some for us, and this past off season he gave up soccer and really went full bore into it, and 3 of his 5 kickoffs were in the end zone, and he made a field goal and all his extra points. And if he hadn't been hit at Fairmont, that field goal was, we got a picture of it. It's above the bar by a long ways. But then when he got hit, it knocked him off. Of course, next one got blocked. But he's really stepped up, and he's also doing the punting. So he's done well. And then we've had a sort of a big group returning the balls because we keep getting people hurt. So we had different people returning the balls as far as kickoffs and that kind of stuff. But no, a lot of people have had to step up because we're trying to get as many guys we have go both ways, get some guys some rest, and with some young guys that had to step up on special teams.
Okay, let's take a look at the highlights if we can. Ashley at home, and they're 2-0 on the home turf.
Well, this young man right here, number 2, is an impressive young man, but that's Mike Rowland and a few of the guys pinning him back, and seeing somebody run some triple against us was a little bit frightening and scary, but we hustled the ball pretty well. We had some quarterback is real elusive and made a lot of big plays. But there again is Mike rolling in on the play. And here's Jesse. Early they gave us a few breaks with Jesse carrying the ball, and then after that it was just that all Chris Kane. And that's one of Chris's 37 carries that he had in the ball game.
Have you had a quarterback carry 37 times?
No,
before?
sir. I've had a B-back once, I think, at 33, but it's the first quarterback. But I had trouble with the newspapers understanding. That's a big catch by a sophomore there, D.C. Russell. He's a 6'5" sophomore, so he's helped us out. But a lot of newspapers couldn't figure out. They said, well, you just set up trying to run him. No, the defense decides who we're going to run. So, but
then again, he has to make that read, too.
Yes, he does. And there he is again.
Good
he really makes some good reads and has done some good jobs for us. But I don't know why he's jumping around like this. But I mean, it's just like, they didn't change the scheme up very much. And Chris was in a pretty good groove. And here he is hitting Stephon Russell on the pass out the backside there. And Steph got a touchdown a little bit later on, but he had a couple big catches for us. He had to step up because we lost Peanut Andrews early, and that's Ann Andrews scoring on that one. And I thought we did a good job first half of keeping the ball. Then second half, our defense stepped up, and we had some big plays by Daniel Barrett and Alex Highsmith and Russell Corbett, and that's Chris Kane again there. But our secondary, Andre Stooks had to make a big knockdown late in the game. And so
372 yards, total offense. And again, that was a big score going into halftime.
It was. Just keeping them away from not having the football is one thing we try and do every week because everybody's so explosive, and they're no exception to that. And you can see, now you can't see it on all these, that number 7 I mean, he's so amazing. He's just a good. And number two is they got some kids. I think Coach Ashley's doing a good job up there at White Oak, and they'll be all right. We got fortunate on a couple snaps. We should have blocked one other field goal, but we're very thin at A-back and slot position, so we're having to come up with some smoke and mirrors to try and survive on that part of it. There again, that's Chris throwing to Stephon Russell. And, you know, he threw for over 100 yards, and we threw it 6 times, so I mean, that's like a crazy game for us. So, but I don't know how Chris does it. He just keeps getting better reading it and throwing the ball. But, you know, our offensive line once again stepped up. They've been playing the last 2 weeks.
I was about to say, you can see some of the holes that he can get to.
Yep. That's Seth right there. That's Jesse Jewell.
Even in a game like this where your offense goes up and down the field, Kane has the big game. Bottom line, your defense had to step up to the end and close the door.
Well, they did, because, I mean, if you aren't average as Andre with the knockdown, yeah, well, they stepped up when needed the second half and came with some big-time plays. You know, you're not going to stop high-powered offenses nowadays like you used to, you know, have 3-0 games and stuff. I think you've got to more realistic. If you can hold them to 21, you're in pretty good shape. But I was real pleased with what Coach Adams and his staff did as far as getting the defense ready. But they're getting a little bit better.
Okay, you have closed the non-conference schedule right now, and now you're hitting the bye week. With the injuries and everything and having to put some people in new positions, bye week at a good time for you?
I think so. You know, we lost probably Peanut with an ACL tear, so we're down to, you know, one starting A-back, and so we're going to have to find some young men that'll step up, and we may have to move some people around. But so far, everybody's been willing to do whatever we need to do. It's just one thing about our A-backs, they're not just runners, they got to be able to block, and so that sometimes can make a difference. Well, we'll figure it out, though.
Okay, so how do you treat the off week? How do you treat the bye week now?
Well, they got the day off, and then we'll come back Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we'll probably practice about 2 hours, 15 minutes, and just enough to try and keep things sharp. And see if we can get a little bit of information on South Brunswick and start getting ready for them. You know, last year we had an overtime game with them, so we'll have our hands full with whoever it is. So.
Okay. Again, Ashley with the big victory at home. They're 2-2 going into the off week. When we come back, the new Hanover Wildcats. Big victory on the road. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Hanover is 2-1 after 3 games played, and Kevin Motzinger alongside at Purnell Sweet.
Yes.
It wasn't necessarily the prettiest thing, but you got out of there.
Well, you know, we talked before, Aaron, that the team we saw at Pembroke was not the team we saw that, you know, on film. And we know because of the past 2 years, we're going to be everybody's bullseye. Everybody's going to be gunning for us and slobbering, and plus they know we lost 43 seniors. Just talking to coaches, it's a little bit different when you set up exchanging film from their tone and their attitude this year as compared to last year. We're young. I mean, it is what it is. But for our kids, with everything, I think we had more penalty yards than either team had offense, and we had 488 yards of offense. It was just one of those nights where I don't think the past 2 years we would have won that ball game, even as talented as we were, and that shows the character of this group of kids. I mean, they just said, forget the officials, forget everything that's going on, and let's just play football, and that's where you saw the touchdowns there. And every time they did something, every time a flag came out, you know, it's 1st and 25, we'd gain 40 and say that's fine, and just keep on plugging. And this is a fun group to be around, and they got a lot of fight in them.
Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at the highlights if we can. Again, Hanover on the road, and we're underway.
We started out this first drive, Teron Piedra.
There's some holes.
Just getting better and better. Our offensive line continues to get better and better. Malachi Mosley also is really stepping up. Ever since we lost Malik, that has limited us how we could use Ramon. And there's Ramon getting one of his 5 touchdowns. He had all 5 touchdowns. I didn't realize that until we broke down the film. But defensively, we're still getting, you know, we're banged up right now, especially on the D-line. But we're getting better and better on the defensive line, and still got to get a lot better in the secondary. Ramon just running hard. He's got a lot of heart and getting stronger and stronger, and a lot faster this year than he was last year. And it's just complimented. It's Trey Age, sophomore. We moved up from JV, and has really stepped up, and he continues to get better. Very athletic young man, and you know, sky's the limit for him. we able to move the football all night long. They didn't stop us. We just kept going backwards. I felt like I had a cowboy clicker and just hit rewind. Every time we'd gain something, we'd start and go backwards. Right there, Ramon again. Right here, overthrow, miscommunication, and that really wasn't us. That was all their quarterback and wide receivers. Funny how that works, but Kenny Jarrett run pretty well right there with a blown tire. He's got a high ankle sprain, and he's still not 100%, and we need him 100%. Right here, Teron Piedra again. The holes are there. Coach Rayner, I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, and with what we do offensively. The past 2 years it didn't look like much, but we really didn't have to do much when you got Trayvon Brown and Jason Murphy. Those guys make you look smart. And here's Ramon again, doing what he's done all year long, and we're going to need him to stay healthy and continue to do. Very elusive. His lower half, he really accelerated. He's gone up 45 pounds in his hang clean since the end of school over the summer and going into the beginning. And we had to change fronts defensively all night long and to find ways to stop their quick passing game. Everything we saw them against Hoggard and the week before, you know, he held on to it a little longer. But against us, it was one step and gone. So Coach Howell really had their kids prepared and had a great game plan. That was Ramon running. Right here's Ward. We'd already had one touchdown called back. Then we got another penalty, and finally we scored. I think this was the second or third time we actually scored on this drive. It was very amusing. We had a lot of fun in Robeson County there. This is Ramon again. He got to touch the ball a lot. We ain't real smart, but we're going to give it to kids that can do something with it. If a fat cow can find green grass, imagine what a good athlete can do. This is Teron. He had a big night. He's really needed that, really step up, and we need our two running backs to free Ramon from the tailback position. We can still, basically everything we do is out of three-back set. We just move them all the way around and change it in the passing game and everything else. Right here, Ramon, one more time. And he's very deceptive, and he can explode. He can go 0-60 very quickly, and we just need him to stay healthy, and that's the concern. And that Ramon highlights. Inside trap, even from coming from outside, we trap it about 6 different ways, and their linebacker stepped to get in B gap. We hit it in A gap, and he got vertical and was gone.
3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. I think the fourth quarter, our kids I think they'd had enough. They went through part of the third quarter and the entire second quarter. If we'd have taken any rope up there, I think we all would have hung ourselves. That second quarter was pretty miserable. It didn't matter what we did. It just seemed like we kept going backwards. And right here, for Reese Williams, a little scramble drill. Reese came up to begin initially. You can't see it on the film. And then the guy came up with him, so he bowed up and got vertical and got some yards. Right here shows his strength.
Yep.
I mean, he's not a big kid, but I mean, our kids are strong. That's one thing that people can say what they want to about us. But we daggum get after it in the weight room. We don't just talk about it. And
step out of that tackle.
Yep. This is his favorite play of mine. I told him after the game, we're just trying to run down the clock. He breaks it, and most kids would have done something stupid there or ran out of bounds. And he got what he could get, and you know, we're just trying to eat the clock. And then they tried, I guess, I don't know, they'd give up. So we were just going to try to run with one and then eat it, and he scores. Nakima Walker right there, 6'6", but bats the ball down and intercepts it. He did it with defensive end position. He spied instead of attacking on that play, and he made a tremendous play.
In the 30 seconds you have left, you're finally at home,
yeah.
Scotland County.
We were glad to be at home, but just wish Scotland wasn't going to be joining the party. You know, we know what to expect. We went in their house last year, and we gave them their only loss of the regular season until they lost the New Bern Eastern Championship, and I'm sure they remember that. And they're going to come to Wilmington with evil intentions. We're excited to be at home. We're going to have to play the best game we can play just to compete with them. They're a lot better football team than we are right now, and you know, we'll tell our kids that because it's not about right now, because if we want to go far in the playoffs, we're going to have to see them again. And our kids have bought into that. Each week, we had a great week of practice last week. I thought Friday night we got better. And as long as we continue to get better by the end of the year, I feel like we got a chance to have a very good football team if we can stay healthy. But right now, we're not there.
7:30 at Legion, Hanover at home against Scotland County. We'll continue on. Laney's next. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. Let's turn our attention over to Laney. The Bucks with an off week last week, but they go to New Bern this week. It is a 7:30 kickoff, and alongside Coach Greg Dietz and Coach, special guest.
Yeah, I brought in Colt Cutler. He's our inside linebacker, been our inside linebacker for 4 years and verbally committed to NC State. You know, we really don't have film this week because of our bye week, but figured bring Colt in here and he could tell us a little bit about our defense.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about captain of the team.
Yes, sir.
And you want to talk about a defense that's put a signature on the season early. I mean, basically, you haven't given up a defensive touchdown. Talk a little bit about the pride that carries from week to week.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Yeoman always puts a burden on our back just to go out and try to get that goose egg, which is a no point scored. And our starting defense has yet to let anybody score on them. And it's just a drive every week just to get better and keep reaching our goals and everything like that.
It's interesting because if you look at all the rules, everybody's playbook, it's set to help the offense.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we're seeing 35-20 games, 45 points scored in high school. Talk a little bit about the defensive mentality because it's different. A lot of guys don't want to play defense.
Yes, sir. And Yeoman tells us that every week. Everybody comes to see the offense. They come to see touchdowns scored and stuff like that. So we just go out there and execute and do our job as best we can and get the offense back on the field.
Okay. You know, when people are looking at film of Laney, they're very aware of you, where you are on the field.
Yes, sir.
Talk a little bit about that, maybe what you're doing to make yourself a little more susceptible or open when people are double teaming you.
Yes, sir. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, in the game, I don't even notice it. I just get in my flow of the things and just do my own thing and just try to play football the best I can. But I know a lot of people are hunting for me and trying to keep me off the tackles and stuff like that. But I'm just every week just go to work and do what I need to do, make tackles and make plays.
Greg, talk about him as a development of a player because you've seen him for 4 years.
Yeah, my biggest thing with Colt is just not on the field activity. We knew he was going to be a great football player, and obviously he's developed into a great football player. But just his ability to come up here and speak to people and you know, communicate with others. You know, because his freshman year, sophomore year, he wouldn't say a thing. We didn't know what the heck was going on in his head, so we didn't even know what type of person he was until, you know, maybe his junior year when he's talking to some of the coaches coming in and he had to sell himself a little bit. He's very mature now, you know, when he communicates with adults and things of that nature. And his mother and father have done a great job of that, and you know, I hope we contributed a little bit also.
We'll talk a little bit about how has football helped you develop outside of the field then?
It's definitely taught me to just respect everybody, and especially your peers and elders and stuff like that, and really just be the best person you can. I mean, football, your face is going to be out there. People are going to know who you are. So I mean, you have a reputation to live up to, and I'm trying to do the best I can about living up to mine.
You've been there for 4 years. Talk a little bit about the growth of this program. You've been there when it struggled a little bit, when it's had some success. All of a sudden, last year you got a lot younger, and then maybe this year. Talk a little bit about what that's been like for you.
Well, yeah, definitely. I've been with every senior class that has come through here in the last 4 years, and I mean, they're all different individuals, and they're all wonderful athletes and stuff like that, and we've been blessed with some wonderful coaches and everything like that. But I definitely think the program has grown a lot, just matured, and just actually we've filled out to the team we're going to be. And I think this year we're going to prove a lot of people wrong about Laney football, just with the athletes and the new coaches we have, and just a new attitude at Laney.
Okay. Talk about the new attitude, being able to make a mark. You go to New Bern. Talk a little bit about that game because you're facing a New Bern team. I don't care if they're 2-2. It's still New Bern.
Yeah, there's only a couple teams on your schedule or a couple games on your schedule where you can actually change your program one way or the other. You know, your seniors can put a mark on the program, and this is one of those games. We haven't beaten New Bern in a very long time. I think the last time I remember beating them was at a JV game, you know, and as a JV defense coordinator. So, you know, they always come to play, and it'll be an exciting football game to go up there. But it's one of those games you circle on the calendar because you say if you can get this one, you know, the kids are doing what you expected them to do.
Okay. I know as a player you'd rather play every week. As a coach, did the off week help a little bit?
It did. We just had some guys banged up. It just seems like it kind of works out that way sometimes. When you have a bye, it seems like everybody's a little bit banged up. I don't know if they don't want to practice as much, but it helped us heal up, and we should be pretty much healthy besides a couple major injuries. You know, we weren't going to get back anyways, but getting some guys healthy, getting some guys back into some playing shape some guys that were out. So we're excited about where we're going to be on Friday night.
Okay. As a D1 recruit, weight room has to be very important. Talk a little bit about the discipline, because it's one thing to be out there at practice,
Yes, sir.
but I guess it's the hours that nobody sees. Coach, I know you can chime in on this too, that really can make a difference.
Well, I mean, we just do what they tell us to do, and I mean, since last year when we lost Middle Creek in the playoffs, the day after that, I mean, the 2013 season started. So, I mean, all those behind the lines, all those sprints and extra days in the weight room, I mean, they've paid off tremendously, and I think Dietz and Coach Yeoman have got us on board to do the right things, and they're just putting us in the best situation.
Yeah, but my biggest thing is just you're in the weight room way more than you're ever on the football field, and you just the biggest thing in the weight room is getting the kids to understand this is where you win football games. You know, once you can get them to buy into that, and you know, having Colt as a senior leader, that helps to get them to buy into that. But they're high school kids, so if you can get them to focus in on something, you know, that's going to be fortunate when the season rolls around, and hopefully that's what we're seeing now.
You mentioned you've been part of all those senior classes.
Yes, sir.
You're now a senior. I mean, I would think the season is just flying by.
Yeah, it's everything. I mean, even the summer workouts and the off season and spring workouts, I mean, everything's just gone by, but I mean, just trying to make the most of it and get everything out that I can out of it.
Okay. It's your last game. Let's hope it's someplace in Raleigh or Chapel Hill in a championship game.
Yes, sir.
When you look back at your time at Laney, what do you want people to remember about your impact on the program?
That I was a better person than I was a football player.
That's great. That's what we're trying to get out of them. So we're excited with that answer. You know what I mean? That's what we want out of our athletes. Sometimes it's not always about winning football games. It's about what these kids do after they leave Laney High School. And obviously he's hopefully going to go on to some great things football-wise, but I think he'll help a lot more people in the community than some of the guys that are gifted with his ability.
Good stuff. Great to meet you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you.
And again, that's a big game at New Bern this coming Friday night, 7:30, against the Bears. We'll continue when we come back. Hoggard's on the slate. Stay with us. Welcome back to the program. We could wrap it up with the Hoggard Vikings and Scott Braswell. And Scott, it was a game where you made some mistakes, a couple of little things, and you really faced a good opponent coming in.
We did. It's the type of game where we knew we had to be close to perfect, you know, to try and get the win. And we did. We made just a few too many mistakes. We dug a hole for ourselves, but same time, very proud of the way the guys kept playing hard. You know, we very similar to the Irmo game. We just weren't able to get over the hump there and come out with the win, but guys continued to play hard. As we had told the guys all week long, you know, this is the type of team that you're going to face in the second and third round of the playoffs, and let's just measure ourselves. And so I think we hopefully now as we go back to practice, you know, even after our 3 wins, we were telling the guys there's a need to work hard and get better and be focused in practice. And I think after the loss, they might be a little more receptive,
right,
you know, to that talk. And hopefully we'll have a great week of practice. We need to continue to work to get better. We have Lumberton this week at Lumberton, and then we open up conference season and we're playing for keeps. So it was disappointing. We didn't play as well as we had hoped to play. We didn't play as well as I think we're capable of playing. And yet it showed some things that we need to work on. And so that'll be a point of emphasis this week, just trying to clean some of those things up and continue to get better.
Okay, let's go to the highlights if we can. Again, Hoggard against a very strong team coming out of Wake.
This is kickoff. I think it's opening kickoff. Again, continue, just put this in. Kickoff return continues to do a great job. That's Randall Emerson there. Might not have been the opening kickoff, but did a great job. Here we are, just a little quick little kind of bubble type of thing. Out to Harrison Smith. This is Austin Schonlever there, taking it down inside about the 30-yard line, working hard. Austin does a good job making plays on his feet. Here's Harrison here, taking it down, a good run, picks us away. Harrison Smith is a good athlete, does a great job. This is one of those situations we weren't able to get points. We got in the red zone twice and did not get points, since that was a real problem for us. When you get down in the red zone, you got to come away with points. So something hopefully we can work on a little bit this week. Malik Moore continues to just play great football. Julius Reynolds behind him there at linebacker. Those guys are doing a great job. There's Malik again. He's got some great film he can send out to some colleges. This is Keevan Thompson. Keevan takes a little ISO deal and makes a good run across midfield. Here's Xavier Johnson dropping back, throwing out to the flat. Harrison Smith again. Harrison makes a guy miss, gets a little bit more yardage. You got a little blitz there, corner blitz. And a nice play there, several of our defenders. There's our front again. Leek Moore, Tyler Beeson, Kyle Delaney, and those guys all in there. This is a kickoff again. They've scored, and this is actually Harrison who gets a good run back for us and puts us in scoring position. Here we are. I think we're going to do a little kind of speed option thing. Get a good block from Randall Emerson. Keevan makes a couple guys miss. Those yards after contact, takes it in for a touchdown. So at this point, we're trying to fight our way back into the game. There's a great play. Hashim Michelle comes off the edge. He's linebacker for us, but also plays some defensive end. Here we come back to that little speed option. Keevan does a great job of being patient, setting up his blocks, makes a nice cut. Here's a little fake. This is right before the half. Fake a little reverse, get it out in the flat. Trevor Brown, he's short of the first down right there, but continues to fight and gets it down. We're able to kick a field goal. I think the last play of the first half, cut their lead 21-10. And so as a result, we're going into halftime. We come out, we make a great stop. We drive down and score, although the touchdown is called back. And it was just one of those unfortunate things that happened during the course of the game because we thought we were back in it. Here's Austin throwing to Harrison. Harrison does a good job out in the flat, making the catch, getting upfield. Again, kids continue to work hard and play hard. There's Keevan, kind of a little ISO play, really. Here's Austin throwing downfield to Randall Emerson, who catches it. We ended up taking a penalty there. This is Randall Emerson here, a little quick screen. Does a good job, a little tunnel screen type of thing. At this point, it's still 21-10. We're still battling, still fighting, still trying to make plays. Austin does a good job of evading the rush and just going to trying to get some yards for us. He continues to, I think he had over 50 yards rushing. That's not something we call on to do a lot, but at the same time, I'm very pleased with what he's doing. Here's a little throwback to Keevan. We put a little too much air underneath that thing, but Keevan does a nice job of making a play. I think at that point it's maybe, might have been 33-17 at that point. Throwing the ball out in the flat. Again, the flats were there. We should have probably done more with it during the course of the game. There's Randall Emerson with the catch there. This is the very end of the game here. I thought Austin did a good job. I see a lot of white jerseys around him, but doesn't quit. And gets it into the end zone for the touchdown. Unfortunately, final score 33-23.
Good. I guess a big thing this week as you get ready for Lumberton, seeing how this group responds.
Yeah, that's right. This is where you need your leadership to step up, and nobody better than senior leadership to step up. But again, the quality of practices will tell us a lot. Are we gonna hang our heads and mope, or are we gonna get back to work today and try and get better? And that's something we've talked about all season long, was the need to be productive in practices. Everybody's got that same practice clock. We can't give any of those work days back. We got to take advantage of them when we can, and this week will be no exception, trying to get better this week as we move toward conference play.
Okay, Hoggard on the road at Lumberton. That too is a 7:30 start. As you can take a look, we have one home game, and that'll be at Legion Stadium this coming Friday night as Scotland County comes in. Our other teams that are in action, both Laney and Hoggard, on the road this week. Highlights for you from all the action next week right here on Sports Roundtable. Good night, everybody.